Once we've mapped out what happens in the level, it becomes clear what assets we'll need. To stay organized, we create an asset list, a simple document that outlines everything required to build the level based on the design plan. This list covers items like 3D models, scripts, sound, and visual effects. We'll use a template available in the course materials to organize everything. Let's take a quick look at it, then walk through a simple example. Here's the template. You'll have a copy to fill in yourself. At the top, add your game or level name just like in your design document. Below that, list every asset needed to build the level. In game development, asset is a broad term that covers anything used to create the game. Assets cover everything: code that drives gameplay, music, and the 3D models themselves. In this list, we organize them by type: scripting and programming, visual effects like fire or smoke, and audio, which is split into sound effects and music. Next are animations, split into character movement and object animations. Then we have environment assets, including tile sets, the modular pieces like walls, floors, and ceilings that form the level's structure. We'll cover how to build these modular environments later during prototyping. It also covers props, both non-interactive items used for decoration and interactive ones the player can engage with, like chests or pickups. Finally, we include the playable characters. For this project, we'll only have one playable character. You can also list any NPCs and enemies here. Cinematics, often called cutscenes, cover moments where the camera takes over, like intro shots or goal sequences. Lastly, include UI elements such as health bars, mini-maps, and any on-screen graphics that inform the player. Finally, we have dialogue and voiceover. This is where you write all spoken lines along with any notes for voice actors if needed. That's a quick overview of the template. Now let's look at an example. Here's a completed asset list for our level, starting with scripting and programming needs. First, we have the player health, damage, and death system grouped together since they're closely linked. We also need logic for our traps, so falling blocks drop and fire hazards trigger when the player enters their zones. We also need a simple pickup item that restores a small amount of health, which requires its own logic. There's also a button-activated door with a timer. Pressing the button opens a gate on the other side of the room and starts a countdown. When the timer runs out, the gate closes, so that logic needs to be implemented as well. We'll also need an interact system for the treasure chest at the end of the level, so the player can press a button to open it. For visual effects, we'll create the fire effect used in the fire traps, likely combined with a simple mesh base. For sound effects, a useful addition is a goal-complete cue, like a small chime or ding when the player finishes an objective. It helps confirm progress. We'll go deeper into player feedback and audio design when we build the prototype. We'll also need a sound for the falling blocks when they hit the ground. On top of that, a damage sound will help alert the player when they take a hit. And finally, a pickup sound for the healing item so the interaction feels responsive. I've also added a general idea for the type of music that would fit the level. We likely won't create music in this course, but it's still included as part of the full asset list. Since the gameplay is simple, we won't need many character animations. Our character only needs basic movement, running and jumping, and these animations already come with Unreal Engine 5. Later in the course, we'll cover animation retargeting so you can apply them to a custom character. For object animations, we'll have a treasure chest that opens when the player interacts with it. For environment assets under tile sets, I've listed the walls, floors, and ceiling pieces needed for the level. We'll go deeper into modular design and tile sets during prototyping. I've also included the traps we discussed earlier, along with the button, trigger gate, and the pickup item. All of these fall under interactive props. For the player character, we'll use the same one defined in the level design document, only a single playable character for this level. There are no NPCs or enemies, so that section can be left blank or marked as none. For in-game cinematics, I don't have any plans for cinematics in this level. If we do end up with extra time, I might add a short in-game sequence, like a quick establishing shot when the button is pressed to open the timed gate. It could briefly show the gate opening so the player clearly understands where to go next before the timer starts. For UI graphics, we'll likely only need a health bar for this level. When the player takes damage from traps, it will not only trigger a sound but also reduce the health bar to visually reflect the loss. That creates a strong player feedback system. We don't have any NPCs or dialogue in this level, so that section stays empty. And that completes our asset list for the level. Asset lists are useful not just as a checklist, but also for controlling scope. They force you to break the level down into smaller, more manageable pieces. If your asset list starts growing into hundreds of items and you're working alone, that's a sign your project is too big. In that case, it's better to go back to your level design plan and simplify it.